Evidence of the brilliant works of a brilliant guy are all around us right now. You may already be aware of Nikola Tesla, but you may not be aware of the wealth of his potential inventions that were never realized and, as a result, accompanied him to the grave. What were these inventions, and how would life have been different if they had? Imagine an existence without restrictions as you continue to watch to find out what happens. This was precisely Tesla's vision for the world. Electric power and machines that do all the job for you. While he was living, Nikola Tesla, a Serbian-American inventor and electrical engineer, was known for his groundbreaking creations and contributions to the field of electrical engineering. Regrettably, though, he only saw some of his goals for. Here are some of Tesla's inventions that were never made, as many of his projects had to be shelved because no one believed in them. This, along with other obstacles, prevented Tesla from realizing his goals. The documents remain firmly in place. Transmission of electricity wirelessly by Tesla. Tesla will make sense to you if you've ever had a hallucination that seemed so real you could almost touch it. He had a vision of a world in which energy could be freely communicated through the air to power homes, factories, and other facilities. The idea was so strong that it almost drove him insane. It was designed to provide a method of transmitting electrical power over great distances without wires or cables. Tesla's method for transmitting power wirelessly was founded on his discovery of resonance circuits. He thought that by sending electrical energy at a certain Tesla conducted tests to test his wireless power transmission theory in the late 1800s and early 1900s. He believed that by manipulating frequency, he could induce resonances in the receiver that would allow energy to be transmitted electronically. Despite his best efforts, Tesla was only able to transfer power over relatively short distances, about 26 miles. He constructed a large transmitter and receiver known as the magnifying transmitter that was capable of producing extremely high voltages and frequencies. But when he tried to use the system to power a bank of light bulbs, he discovered that the system was ineffective due to the energy loss in the atmosphere, and the transmitter's efficiency was much lower than he had anticipated. The environment's other electromagnetic signals interfering with Tesla's transmissions was another problem. Due to the inability to find an investor for Tesla's ambitions and the ongoing battle to convince J.P. Morgan to stay on board, the project was taken over by the French inventor Marconi. Despite the fact that Tesla was unable to develop a workable wireless power transmission system that could be used commercially, his research and experiments paved the way for future technologies. It is well known that advancements in wireless communication, power transmission, and his efforts continue to inspire scientists and engineers. Early 20th century oscillating oscillator by Tesla. It is common knowledge that scientists and engineers are continually motivated by developments in wireless communication, power transmission, and his endeavors. Tesla's rotating oscillator from the early 20th century. Even though the oscillator generator wasn't a success, it didn't stop Tesla from coming up with another invention from the failed one. One of the oscillators was claimed to have the power to start earthquakes when vibrated by the Earth's resonance. So even though the oscillator generator wasn't a success, new desires were born. However, let's first look at some of the reasons why he failed in the first place. As we mentioned earlier, one of Tesla's main challenges was the need. In order to develop and test his inventions, Tesla struggled for the majority of his life to obtain the funding and resources he required. Because of this lack of support, he was unable to conduct the extensive research and testing required to produce a working oscillator generator machine. The constraints of the technology were yet another issue that Tesla had to deal with. Tesla's attempts to develop a device that could tap into this power were also hampered by the limitations of the technology and the equipment available to him at the time. At the time, the oscillator generator machine was designed to harness the power of resonance, a complex and challenging concept to harness and practice. In the 1920s, Tesla developed a working prototype of a vertical launch and landing. Although the design was completely realized, the aircraft was never built. He had spent a lot of time developing this prototype in the hopes of revolutionizing the aviation sector. Rather than relying on wings and propellers for lift, his design used powerful turbines to generate a vertical lift. Tesla's aircraft design featured a number of discs, each of which had a turbine mounted on top. The discs were stacked vertically. Despite Tesla's enthusiasm and success in designing and constructing several prototypes, rotating independently to provide lift and propulsion, the primary issue was that the turbines could not produce enough lift to keep the aircraft aloft for an extended period of time, which made it difficult to control the aircraft's flight. He needed assistance to create a fully functional vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. The absence of conventional wings and control surfaces made the aircraft unstable and difficult to maneuver, and rotating discs made it challenging to steer and stabilize the aircraft while in flight. However, these issues could have been resolved with adequate financial backing. As a result, Tesla's vertical takeoff and landing aeroplanes were hampered. Investors were reluctant to fund his ambitious endeavor because many saw it as being too risky and impractical. Therefore, keep in mind that Tesla made contributions to the field when you next see an aircraft. Tesla's work on vertical takeoff and landing aircraft was a crucial move in developing vertical flight. Technologies continue to inspire engineers and scientists today. The Guardian Cliff Tower is another depressing tale. It was a sizable wireless telegraphy station that Nikola Tesla developed and constructed in. The tower was designed to be the focal point of a global wireless communication system in the early 1900s that would enable people to speak with one another anywhere in the world without the use of wires or cables. But given that the top was funded, Tesla encountered many difficulties in the construction and operation of Wardenclyffe Tower. Tesla had contributed a significant amount of money to the project, but required assistance in securing additional funding from investors or governmental organizations. Things only got worse as a result of J.P. Morgan's withdrawal of support due to lack of confidence in the project, forcing Tesla to abandon the project before it was finished. The tower was eventually destroyed in 1917, and Tesla's vision of a global wireless communication system remained unfulfilled. He had conducted tests and showed the technology to various military and governmental officials, but he still lacked support, despite the Soviet Union's apparent interest having peaked with these projects' failure. Even after Tesla's sudden death on January 7, 1943, at the age of 86, no one can dispute the value of his knowledge despite his rapid fall in health and frequent breakdowns. Tesla's papers were taken by the U.S. government and classified as top secret in 1952 after his death. The government was worried that some of Tesla's research might be useful for military purposes, particularly in the early days of the Cold War, so the FBI searched Tesla's apartment and removed his papers and personal belongings. The documents were then transferred to the custodian of alien property, which later evolved into the Office of Alien Property. Tesla's papers were kept secret for a long time. The government only started to disclose some of them in 1957, and it took until the 1980s for all of Tesla's papers to be made public. So that's it for today's video. Hope you like it. If you really, then do not forget to subscribe and hit bell icon for more videos. Thanks for watching.